Well, that was interesting. You got the exit of the stream for briefly, and then the sound didn't work on my intro, so that was a failure. Anyways, welcome in. Hope everyone is having a good lunch hour on their Friday. Happy Friday to anyone who's at work. And hopefully you guys will have a fantastic start of the weekend. It's been a while since I've done a live stream. Probably since I did the several ones that I had in a row when I did all those live streams with all the other different guys that was joining me on my live stream. So that was a lot of fun. I'm hoping to do that again soon. Just got to schedule them all out. But I haven't done one live myself, so I thought I would do one real quick and get everyone together. Hopefully we'll get a good group of people in here. Thanks for coming in, Brandon. I appreciate it. Hour and a half until I get lunch, and I'm pretty hungry too. Hey, Jesse. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. But hopefully your lunch will be good. Thanks for coming in, Jesse. I'm sure you're hanging out at work and popping in just to say your hello. So, but yeah, I kind of wanted to give you guys a few updates on what's been going on. I haven't gone live or done a whole lot lately because I was busy at work for the last couple of weeks. But I'm now off and I have a little bit more time to do a few things. So here we are. I only had this scheduled and I scheduled it yesterday. And it was kind of a point to where I was like, well, do I have time to do one? And I said, sure, I can figure it out. Because there's a lot of stuff happening within my time off within the next week and a half or so. So, but there's quite a lot. Hey, Jim, thanks for coming in. I'm going to get something here in a few minutes, and I'm kind of, I don't know if I want to say I regret it or not, but it's something interesting that I got from AQQA that I'll present that here in a little bit. So that's kind of an update. I don't want to forget about that, so let me write that down. But hopefully everyone's doing well. I tried to schedule this in a time to where everyone could watch at least for a little bit. Because tonight I couldn't do one. Tomorrow I can't do one. Because I'll probably watch Jesse's live Saturday and Ben Ochart's. And then the following weekend is the Ohio Cichlid Association. So I'm going to be busy with that next weekend. And during the week, I don't really have any plans as of yet. But I figured this would be a good time to do it. So it's just kind of like a pre-game to the weekend sort of thing. So, but thanks for coming in. Looks like Myers is in here. So the fish keeping maniac. I always like that. But it looks like Brandon Sunday morning will be a guest on Patty's stream. So let's see. What do I got going on Sunday? I'm not sure off the top of my head, but what time is that, Brandon? Let me know. Let's see here. Jesse says, turn the Me Cool unit on heat mode. Going to see how it does with the tanks. Had to turn on as my Tiger War tank was 69 degrees. Hey, that's a good number. Hi, Hydroponic. Thanks for coming in. I don't have everyone's name, their list of names, so I'm just going to call everyone by their YouTube name if that's okay with you guys. We are all doing well so far. It'll be 9 Central, Brandon. Thank you. I'll write that down on my notes on Sunday. Sunday, 9 Central. I'm assuming PM, right? So you said Sunday night, right? Just to clarify. All right. Hydro, sounds good. Thank you, Susan. I might have you on my list here. I don't remember where my list is not in my little file here, so but I got you written down. So thank you. So at any rate, Hydro. Oh, Sunday morning. Okay, Sunday morning. All right, thank you, Branton. I appreciate it. I got several updates to tell you guys about, and I maybe we should just wait and see until other people roll in here. Everything's been going fine for the most part in the fish room. I had one of my peacocks die upstairs, and I had it for a little over a year, and it was a. Let me look here real quick. It was a relatively small one. It was called a Gold Harbor Island Nethernops. So it was kind of like a sulfur head peacock, but instead of it being like more of like a blue with a yellow on its nose, it was more of like a silver. So that one passed away for whatever reason. Sometimes fish just die. There was no signs of disease or didn't get beat up or nothing, because I did add 4 or 5 fish or so within the last month or so, and then before that they were in quarantine. But they're all doing fine. The one's not eating after a couple of days. It was eating when it was in the quarantine, and it did just fine. And then when I put it in the peacock and half tank, it was eating, and then for the last couple of days it hasn't. But there's no signs of anything on him at all either. No bloat, no disease, nothing. So I know I've seen that before, to where sometimes fish just don't eat, and then out of nowhere they'll just start eating again because they'll get hungry. But that's kind of like the updates really as far as fish goes. Everything else has been fine. The fry have been growing out. I haven't had any new fry in my egg tumblers yet. So it's been quite a few weeks since that's happened. So I don't know if I'm going to maybe try a little different techniques on how to get them to breed or not. But that was another update that I was going to tell you guys about too. That one of the things I thought about is, I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to keep the mollies. I'm looking at them right now. They're actually right behind the camera here. But the mollies, I'm probably going to end up taking half of them to my upstairs tank, and it's basically like into the community tank, my 46-gallon bow front. And then I'm probably going to give some of them to my friend Tim in his community tank, and then I'm going to, because he had lost a few of his when he was starting his tank up and keeping it up and running. So I was going to give him a few more to try out, and then I was going to give the rest of them to my local fish store. And the whole reason of that is because I want a kind of like either quarantine or essentially a grow out tank, just to keep the cycle in the tank going. But I'm probably going to end up moving fish around and using that tank as a grow out tank. And then if I need it, I'll use it as a quarantine tank for new fish. Or that's what I'm probably going to be using it for. It's a 29-gallon, just to have that as an availability if something ever happens. And I'd like to keep either a 10 or a 20-gallon in a quarantine for like disease purposes. So I'm going to be moving some fish around. I have a 55-gallon available. I'm going to put some fish in, because some of these fish, like there's some OBs and some red shoulder peacocks that are growing out. So I'm going to move some of those into bigger tanks. So there's going to be a lot of fish movement, but nothing too crazy or exciting. It's kind of boring stuff. So nothing that I don't really deem worthy enough to make a video about or anything like that. So that's kind of the updates that I'm doing at the moment. Let's see. I know Jesse, he was talking, or he actually shared on some of his live stream and videos that he's got rid of all his small tanks. That's something that's always been in the back of my mind. So I always thought about getting rid of the smaller tanks and maybe not doing the fry stuff as much as I, thought I would. And I still like doing it, like there's no regrets at all by me doing that. But I thought about, once I start moving fish around, one of the things that, that Jesse has a dream of, he's going to eventually fix his big tank. But one of the things I always thought about doing too is having one of those big tanks as well. And I don't even know the size or whatever, but I would maybe start, in the meantime, as I'm keeping these small tanks, I would kind of, start saving money away for that monster tank. And it would be something that the reason why I would do this is, I've explained this probably a couple of times before, and you guys who know me probably have heard this, that I want to keep the fish that I've raised up myself from egg tumblers and all the way up to what they are now, and put them all in this monster tank and let them all grow out in a big tank. So that's kind of something that I thought of doing. Brandon loves the small tanks. I saw your posts about all the different things that you did with all your small tanks, with all your planted stuff that you put in there, and it looks really nice. Hey Henry, thanks for stopping by and coming in, just giving us a little bit of some updates on what's happening. So you didn't miss a whole lot, Henry. Thanks for coming in. Brandon, I might be getting a hold of you soon, by the way. I wanted to ask you while you're in here, what is the smallest tank that you have? Because I got something from AQQA, and I'm kind of debating about what I want to do with it, because they gave me, and then, like, long story short, they gave me a small tank. It's 2.4 gallons. And I was debating about, like, I don't know if you have any nano tanks at all, but I might be getting hold of you soon on how to set this up. So let me know, if you're interested in working together with me and maybe setting this up for a planted tank. But if I have some small tanks, Fish Nerd, what I'll probably do is, if I decide to get rid of all my small ones, is I'll probably keep like one or two specifically for treating for diseases if that ever comes arise. Knock on wood, hopefully it doesn't, because we all don't like it, of course. But I always want to keep at least one or two around, just for that, that reason of, in case I had something happen that in an emergency that we can take care of something like that. So that's why, like, I like your idea behind it. It's always nice to keep one or two around just in case. Brandon says I have gallon tanks, jars. The ones you referenced earlier were 2.5 gallons. Okay. So yeah, then, I'd love to work with it. That would be great. But yeah, Jesse did get rid of all the small tanks, and I get it, making it easier and, make it less, not that maintenance is a bad thing, because we all got to do it with our fish tanks, but anything that anyone can do to make their hobby and this fish keeping hobby easier, more power to them. Because I always like to bring Jesse up, because I've been watching his channel for the longest out of everyone that since I've joined YouTube. I'm not even kidding, it's been Jesse and Ben Ochart, and I started with KG Tropicals, but I've since not followed them anymore. And a little bit of Primetime Aquatics. But as far as, the lower channels go, I started watching Ben Ochart, and that's how I found Jesse's channel. And between them two is the channels that I've learned the most from, just because I joined their live streams and I got to interact with them and that sort of thing. And even with Ben Ochart, I met him. So I've got to learn the most and got the most inspiration from them too. And then as I've gone through YouTube as well, I've learned so much from all these different live streams, all these guests and stuff. So that's been a pleasure having them and learning a lot from them. So, and Brandon says, setting up a liter tank currently should be really neat. I have small tabletop pieces. They can be so much fun. So that's kind of what I got. I'm going to do things kind of out of order. So Brandon, hang out for a little bit if you can. I'm going to go get this thing. I have a whole lot of stuff to talk to you guys about, a lot of updates. But AQQA sent me something, and the tank was a lot smaller than I anticipated. But it's like a 2.5 liter tank. You guys probably can't see this, but it's essentially, this says Intelligent Desktop Eco Fish Tank. And how this is set up, hopefully you guys will be able to see this. It's this little guy here. And like, it's like a 2.5 gallon. And basically on the inside here, it's got a filter. It's obviously got this intake tube here, and then it goes in here. There's a sponge. I think this is like a carbon sponge, I think what they call it. And then your biomedia, and then it returns over on this side, and then just falls right back into the tank on this side. And then they give you a few extra, like, sponge media and stuff, like right here. So this is my little setup. So this is Brandon. This is what I was talking about, setting something like this up. It's got like a little switch light here as the camera focuses. So this is one thing that I got that they want me to advertise for them. But I wanted to do something different with it, you know. So that's the one update. Fish Nerd says, I never thought I'd want a pilot gun, but then I started getting fry. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, that's what I thought for shrimps. Hello, camera. Come on, focus. Work with me here. Hold on, guys. This camera needs to start focusing. This is like me swimming in the water in the fish tank. You know how it's all blurry? You don't have any. There we go. This autofocus is on. I might have to switch to the other one, the manual focus, so it doesn't do this. Sometimes it'll catch what these fish are doing in the background, and that blurry will kind of come in and out. But if that happens again, I'll adjust it for you guys. But it's a 2.5 gallon. Yeah. It's cute. Yeah, it's kind of neat. And I've never had the small tank, and I never had any desire to have a tank this size. So I want to do something. And it's something that you just stick on your desk. And it's supposed to be real quick and easy, you know. So a gallon is 3.78 liters. Okay, good to know. But yeah, Jesse said he always has a couple of 10 gallons around for quarantine. Yep, that's kind of like my plan. If I were to get rid of the small tanks, it would be kind of like bittersweet because I made the stands for the smaller tanks. So like it was a project that I did, and I was really proud of it for what I did. But here we go with the autofocus again. Let me see if I can fix this for you guys so we don't have this issue. Give me just a second. All right. Are we good? I have the manual focus on, so we shouldn't see that blurriness happen again. I just turned that off. Yeah, so Jesse, I'm kind of like with you in that I might keep like 110 and then 120 gallon long, and then I'll keep the 29 gallon for, like you said, like the bigger fish for quarantine, you know, in case I get, you know, like for example, like say if, you know, God forbid that a frontosa or something, you know, something happens with that we don't want, you know, it'll be big enough to keep him in. Frog. Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of my my one update. And let's see. There's another thing I want to talk about too, but I think I'm going to leave that towards the end. So I talked about moving fish around, talked about moving the mollies around, and there's a smaller tank. So the last one I kind of want to talk about at the end, because it's kind of something that's somewhat unrelative, but not so much to the fish keeping hobby. But here's the AQQA tank. Okay, so and Jose's in here. Thanks for coming in, Jose. Fishing, if you get rid of all your 10s, you'll regret it within a month. You know, it may be, but I'm telling you, like, if I start getting some of these fish that have grown up since they were babies, or eggs, I should say, and I see them and watch them grow out in a big monster tank, that itself alone is going to be like I feel like that'll outweigh getting rid of the smaller tanks. But we'll see. We'll see what happens here. I just want to, that's always been in the back of my mind. And it's something that I think that big tank will eventually happen at some point. I just don't know when. It may not even happen until like the end of the winter or springtime when I save my money up for that big tank that I want. But more than likely, I think if I empty some and set them aside, it's probably what I end up doing. Or what I might do is I might sell at least a few of them. So that way, if someone wants them, they can kind of like, if I come down to this point to where I get rid of them, I'd probably only sell them or give them away to people, you know, especially if somebody that I know, like family and friends. But if I want to like put them on Marketplace, I'd be like, hey, here's a 10-gallon tank. It's got a filter, it's got gravel, it's got decoration, you know, pick one out, you know, you can give me $20 for it, you know, or something simple, you know, here's 9 tanks here. You can pick any of them out and you can pick that one and take it home with you. $20, you know, or for one that doesn't have gravel in it, like there's a bottomless one that's there. It just has a sponge and a couple of decorations. I'm like, here, $10, have everything that's included with it, sort of thing. Adventure of the Grouse will have 4 generations in the fish room. That's cool. So my next update, now that I'm caught up on chat, is I was trying to. Oh, I forgot about something here. But anyways, I was trying to upload a video for you guys, and I did it on my phone. But the coding to transfer it onto my StreamYard, and even if I wanted to put it on like DaVinci Resolve, which is where I do a lot of my editing with my like a digital camera, with my phone, for some reason it was recorded in like an HEEC or like an HVAC or something like that. And even when I tried to put it on DaVinci Resolve, long story short, it didn't recognize the coding. And I tried to figure out, oh, well, let me see if I can make the video file into a different code. And of course, everything pops up to where you can go to this website and put it to a different coding. Well, then, you know, this was like 10 minutes before my live stream. So like, and then it said you had to pay, you know, a monthly subscription, you know, to do this coding. I was just like, you know what, I'll just explain it, because my Sun 303B filter, it still works. Everything's fine, but I'm coming out with a video for it. And this is why I was going to share the video with you guys. Since you guys are on my live streams, I was going to share this 10-minute video and have you guys watch it as a preview, because all the channel members can watch it now, which there isn't a whole lot of channel members, but it's going to come out at 5 p.m. Eastern time. I think 5 or 6. I think it's 5. But it's coming out this evening anyway, so make sure you guys check that out. I just want to make a quick video, and it's basically, I know a lot of people like doing like, it's been 11, you know, it's been a year since I've done maintenance on my canister filter, so it's kind of that sort of thing. But I didn't go through the whole process of like opening it up and taking each thing out and stuff, and because there's a ton of videos about with people doing that. So the video is basically like a 10, 11-minute video of just a learning experience for me and for you guys, for anything that you may or may not know. And whenever I'm talking throughout this video, I'm showing pictures of how everything happened. But long story short, life got ahead of me, and I hadn't serviced my Sun filter in 11 months, and there was no pre-sponge on this one, and it was in my 46-gallon Beaufront community tank. And thankfully, it's not on there right now, and I'll explain why. But I have a Higer hang on the back that I got from them that's currently running on that at the moment until I get this canister filter back in there. But when I started taking these trays out, for anyone who doesn't know about Sun filters, they're kind of, in my opinion, seem to be phasing out. And if people are running them, and they seem to be running like forever because they just don't die. But they're just old. You know, there's more filters coming out, you know, and replacement parts for these Sun filters. The one replacement part I had to find on eBay. So, I mean, like these parts are like, you can't find them in stores. So it's not as convenient to get these parts, you know, if something were to go bad. But this is what the base looks like. Sun filters, 303B. And then, so the top here, I'm not going to go into grand detail about this because I'm going to let you guys watch the video later on here this evening. But they all come with these UV lights and stuff. Here's a housing that goes around the UV light. And the water, what it does is go through here, and water goes through the bottom and then comes through the top through these trays here. Well, the UV light that was inside, you know, normally you're supposed to turn on for a few hours, then turn it off. And say if you have like an algae bloom or something like that, you leave it on for a little bit longer until the algae bloom clears, and then you leave it off. Well, like I said, long story short, it was on for longer than it needed to be, and it ended up burning through these trays. So like, you know, these trays, like I said, the UV light feeds through here in this tubing, and there's 3 trays and they're all stacked on top of each other. This one doesn't even have one of those tubes. So it got burnt to the side. And here's a second tray. I mean, the tube's there, but it's still burnt, you know, right here. So this tray is not usable either. And the only one that lasted, and you can even see like on the inside of this one here, that it's a little bit like discolored, you know, around the outside here. So the only tray that was fully intact was the last one. So I had a spare one because I got this huge that was still good. So I only had to buy one more of these trays. But I guess long story short is I left that UV light on for too long. And I've heard reports of that UV light burning through these trays. And it is a thing because it happened to me. So I burnt through these trays. I ended up buying more of them. And I'm only going to use that UV light when I need to. And it kept my tank crystal clear. I mean, it was probably like one of the clearest tanks aside from my Peacock and Hap tank. It was probably one of the clearest tanks in the house. But unfortunately, it didn't work. It actually, this is the part that I got on eBay because you can't find like this tray either, but it burnt through here as well. So that was the other update I wanted to let you guys see. And unfortunately, I had to take it out of service, and I, you know, lubricated all the O-rings and did the service all the impeller, I should say. Lubricated the O-rings. What else did I do? Cleaned the hoses and that sort of thing. But I have one that I bought, Brandon, on my Peacock and Hap tank, just because that tank was never crystal clear, and that was like the one thing that I actually wanted to have the fish to actually look like it was like they were floating in thin air. But everything else, including that 46 Island bow front, had a UV light. And because of this, like I said, I'm probably never going to use this light ever again, unless I have like maybe like a green algae bloom or something like that. But that tank has been around for a long time. It's very seasoned. So it has a ton of beneficial bacteria within the substrate, you know, within the decoration and stuff. So, hey, Eds, thanks for coming in. So that's kind of like a brief, you know, sort of thing that happened with me this week is when I was servicing my filter, that I had to replace some of those trays and pretty much do a whole downright cleaning. And I wish it just slipped my mind that I left the UV light on too long, and it definitely burnt through those trays. So that's something to keep in mind if you guys ever have a Sun filter, just to kind of keep that in mind. But that's kind of the my updates that I have. And yeah, there's really not much else to talk about. Those were kind of like the main things I wanted to say. I was kind of disappointed because I really wanted to bring up the video, but because of the coding, everything, it wasn't working. So unfortunately, I could just explain to you. But thankfully, you guys can watch the video tonight, and it'll be out by I think 5 p.m. Eastern time is what I believe. But yeah, you're welcome, Hydro. It's just something that a learning lesson for me that it was just, I mean, work got really busy this summer. And then by the time I was done with work, with how crazy it got, I was trying to spend time with family and just keep up to date with maintenance on the fish tanks and stuff and make sure they're all good. And then it just kind of point where I was trying to enjoy the end of summer, and just one of those things I just didn't think about. So I will no longer be using that UV light unless I absolutely need to. And I explained that in the video as well. But the video is kind of neat, and that's why I was disappointed. I really wanted to show you guys because it actually like brings up pictures and stuff of, you know, everything I did and that sort of thing. But yeah, everything else is going well. Everything else is doing good. I can't think of any other updates. Let's see here. The AQQA tank probably. I'm kind of busy today, but Brandon, I'll probably get a hold of you maybe tomorrow. Let's see if tomorrow. I'm not sure how soon I'm going to dive into this because, like I said, they just gave me this empty tank, so I can kind of escape it myself. So I think that we kind of need to do like a nano tank or a shrimp tank or something simple, you know, that sort of thing. So, but yeah, cool. Yeah, you guys check that video out if you get a chance to. So the last thing that I guess not really like an update, but something I'm debating is my buddy Tim and I'll make this a long story short too. My buddy Tim and I, we've been trying to get on a channel to where him and I can do live streams together, but it's not going to be like fish related. He got a camera ready and he's got Twitch and like he's starting to do like some YouTube stuff himself, but it's all like gaming. And I kind of thought about this before talking to him, that I thought about doing like maybe like a hobby channel. But I didn't know if I wanted to mix it with this one, because I feel like if I did that, so instead of making like obviously not just like a gaming channel, but like, because I do a lot of different things from, let's say like I do gaming, I do like actual like fishing, like either on a boat or most of the time like in our local like ponds and stuff like that. For anyone who also doesn't know that I do drumming here and there, so I could figure that out and do that live someday. A bunch of other outdoor stuff in the spring and summertime with like going to parks and stuff. Tomorrow works. Got to run some shrimp to the store and fish and set up 2 tanks. All right. Thanks, Brandon, for stopping by. But yeah, it was kind of like one of those things I wanted to ask you guys' opinion on. And for anyone who's watching the replay, I'm kind of, yeah, I've been doing it for a long time, but my brother's like, I'm only like a quarter of the drummer of what my brother is. So, but I'm kind of wondering, if I should make just a separate YouTube channel, but that would mean like starting over and working with 2 separate channels. As opposed to if I were to start like a hobby channel, should I keep doing this on this channel so I still have all the subscribers and I would gain more watch hours? And I would get more, different crowds, but if I did it on this channel, I would change my name on here from Price Tag Aquariums to Price Tag Hobbies. That was just an idea that just kind of came to mind. But I feel like if that were to happen, a lot of the people that would watch this channel mainly for the fish stuff, I might lose some subscribers, but then I might gain some subscribers. So I'm kind of going back and forth between me starting a brand new channel with just Price Tag Hobbies, or should I just keep Price Tag Aquariums? So that's, okay, Brandon. Okay, tomorrow. All right, thank you. I misunderstood that. So that's kind of something that was kind of brought to light with my buddy Tim and I, that like if I were to do the combination of the channel, then some people would be like, oh, I came here for fish stuff, but then him and I are streaming like a video game, or I might be like at the park doing something, or I might be drumming, and people are like, well, I don't want to watch this, so that might be like the downside of it. But then I might gain other people and stuff. So I guess like in a nutshell, it would be helpful for my channel, but at the same time, would it be worth it? So it's a very tough decision, because I feel like I started this channel for the main and sole purpose of doing an aquarium channel. So yeah, I could probably do that, Hydro. Just put in my about section. And if I were to change my name, I would probably change my logo too. But I wouldn't know what I would change it to. It's a lot to think about. It's a lot to put in consideration of what could possibly happen, but what could I also gain from it? And I always thought it would be fun to play the games that my buddy Tim and I do. And it'd be fun for like my wife and I, if we were to go to a park or something and, just enjoy the outdoor activities, or like doing like drumming stuff to like a song or something like that, which I know I have to watch out for copyright stuff, but like it'd just be like a hangout thing, so something that's a little bit different. So that way it can kind of broaden my horizons if I sort of get stuck with what new content to come out with for the fish keeping hobby. Because sometimes, with our smaller niche community, it's harder to come out with new stuff. So that's why like Jesse and other people are just doing live streams to kind of make sure they're still active and come out with small 5-10 minute videos here and there, and then just doing mainly live streams. So Brandon says, for me, I would just have it all on one channel, but I'm also not overly concerned with YouTube. And I'm probably like 1/10 concerned with YouTube analytics. Enough to a point to where I would like to stay above that 1,000 subscribers, which would be nice, just to make sure that, it would be nice to see like a little bit of like a smidge of maybe revenue, just to kind of help out with the cost of fish food and, the hobby and stuff like that, and anything else that I do. But I'm not like, super concerned about like anything else. Like it would be nice just to do different things to kind of broaden the horizons and get different, things out there. But I think that's kind of like like I'm leaning more towards like a 60-40 to maybe like a 70-30 of just keeping this channel and maybe rearranging a little bit. Maybe change the name and that sort of thing. So that's kind of like in a nutshell what I've been thinking about doing. So I know that on a Friday afternoon, lunch hour, afternoon, early afternoon is a little bit difficult, but gotta start selling those babies. Yeah, that's for sure. Ed says, I agree with Brandon. Your channel should reflect you. If a hobby channel works for you, do it. I would just have separate sections on the page for different topics. So you would, so going with Brandon and Ed, let me just make sure if I understand this correctly on your take on this, is you would keep my same channel, but you would kind of separate your videos into, how do they word it on there on the studio? Like you could put these videos with these playlists. I think playlist is the word I was thinking of. So you could keep this playlist for label it as this is what I have for fish keeping, and then have this playlist as whatever else I decide to do. And maybe that's the way I could do it and still keep this channel. So that way I don't have to build back up a second channel, have to worry about two separate channels. Cause to me, that feels like it's a lot of work. But that's kind of my idea and thought process. So, okay. Yeah, that's kind of like, I feel like it'd be a lot easier on me because I won't have to create another channel and have to watch two separate channels and that sort of thing. So I feel like that would be easier. So that as long as I specify in my description of my channel that, hey, this is what I'm doing now, and I'm going to start categorizing things into its own spots. Yeah, that's just a given. All your videos should be divided into playlists. I started doing that. Not everything is in a playlist. Like I have like all my aqua decor in one playlist. But there's I mean, obviously everything's already in YouTube, like your live and your videos and your shorts and everything. But like, that's one thing I never really got into as far as like, there's few things here and there that I sectioned off into playlists, but I just haven't really dived in deep to put every video I've created into its own playlist. So I feel like if that were to happen, I would have to literally put everything down as like a playlist and then like a sub playlist within that category. Yeah, and easier to find for you guys. So that way, if you guys want to follow my fish keeping hobby, you can just click on these videos and not worry about everything else. And then maybe pick certain days for certain topics. My my work schedule, the thing with that is there might be, I have a swing shift, so there might be some days where I'm on day shift, there might be days where I'm off, and I might be on night shift. And it's never like I don't work Monday through Friday 9 to 5 or whatever it is. It's some weekends I work and some weekends I don't. And there's never one day to where I'm always off or always on days or always on nights. So that would be something that I would have to figure out as well. Because what I said earlier is whenever I do my live streams, like I picked to do this live stream like yesterday because it was what I had time for. And it took me several days to figure out when to do this live stream because there was other stuff going on that I needed to take care of. And because there's been a lot of like yard work and stuff, I've been trying to get, the fall's weather's coming in, it's settling in, and doing a bunch of yard work and doing like your fall cleaning up, to winterize everything. So it's been busy. Jesse says, no fish only, trader. Yeah, my schedule's kind of whack, but I had a lot of vacation time set up. So I have a decent amount of time off right now. And then next month, I'll have a lot of time off. I'll have actually a couple weeks off in December as well. So I have a lot of time to kind of think about this. So if I start doing this, you're probably not going to, if I decide to do this, you probably won't see any changes until like next year. Because right now I just want to like fully focus on what's going on in the fish room and raising up the fry and kind of making decisions on moving fish around and stuff. So I have some things going on at the moment, but it's just one of those things that like my buddy Tim and I always talked about, and myself as well. But yeah, my schedule is pretty crazy. Yep. So I could use like a subject line for a topic, even like on each video, I could say, have a subject line for it too. It's a lot to look into. So that's something that I'm going to be like, just kind of, just in a nutshell, just kind of putting my feelers out there, putting my feet in the water and seeing how things go. And if it doesn't go well, or if I don't like it, or if it ends up being too much, because I don't think whenever I do like these like hobby stuff, it's more than likely just going to be a live stream for the most part. And then whenever the live stream's done, I'm just going to post it on YouTube, and people can watch as long or as little as they want. And I do very little editing, so it's not going to take a whole lot of time to do. The only thing that would take a little bit more time to do is if I go outside and do something, I'll just use my phone, so and that'll take a little bit more editing to do. So it shouldn't be too overwhelming, and it won't take a whole lot of effort, but I just feel like it'd be kind of an opportunity for other people to get to know me more than just being a fish keeping hobby. So, but yeah, that's kind of my whole idea behind this. I didn't want to bore you guys too much with this, but I hope it wasn't too boring, Jesse says all on one channel, changing name to cover all the hobbies like a general and like price tag hobby life. Yeah, I think it's going to be like price tag hobbies or price tag, something, it's going to be something that's going to be unique. And then I could change my icon that'll suit like everything. But one thing's for sure that I can't thank you guys enough. I know there's only like 4 people watching right now, is that whoever watches the replay this far, that I do appreciate you guys watching, and keeping up to date with me and all that sort of thing, because it's still been a lot of fun. And I want to have fun with everything too, and that's the whole purpose, is just to enjoy it, being able to share, my hobbies and interests, obviously my fish hobby, but like be able to share everything with you guys, and just have fun with it, just appreciate, all your guys' interactions and everything. And I don't know, it's been a blast so far, and I still continue to use YouTube, and I didn't think I was going to go this far, but it's been going well so far. And that was one thing I thought of too, because it's hard to come up with new ideas in the fish keeping hobby, just for the fact of there's, like Jesse has always said, that it just seems like there's something that everyone has already done. And YouTube in itself, because of how popular it is, and social media, like there's a lot of things out there that someone hasn't already done, but it's just a way to do something different and have fun with it. Hydra says my channel started out as a cat video channel. So did you have a different name for it as well? Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Jesse. Yeah, I agree with that statement. Yep. And that's kind of what keeps me on the YouTube channel. It's coming in and talking to people that, get to know them a little bit, and then just connect with them. You're going to have your oddballs, that people that, obviously you're just going to have to block, that's just social media and YouTube. It is what it is. But I think generally speaking, it's nice to keep things fresh. And, when you come in here and if you're doing water changes, or if you're doing maintenance, there's a lot of videos out there. And I just feel like it'd be a good opportunity to get out there and keep, my YouTube fresh, and at least get, a broader audience out there. So I guess we'll see. But like I said, it may not even happen until like maybe next year. But I do like the idea, Brandon, as it keeps, connection with everybody and like-minded people. Yeah, I like the YouTube community for the most part. I've had a few things here and there pop up here and there, but nothing major. And they do help support each other. I mean, I've just within like the interviews and just joining YouTube, and then people commenting on stuff I've learned so much from. Like, it's just been really helpful, and I wouldn't learn half the stuff that I've learned already if it wasn't for YouTube. So granted, alone in itself, if I decide to change it and I don't like it, I still learned from it, and it's an experience. So I mean, you can't say I didn't try it. Hydra says yes, it was ascending wayward cat videos. Speaking of cats, hey Stan. Speaking of cats, and I'll make this a long story short. We had a cat on our roof of our house, and a few days ago, I kept hearing this meowing. I was looking under the vehicles, and I was looking in our yard, and I was thinking, where's this cat? I can't. I obviously hear a cat meowing, and I can't see it anywhere. And then I quit hearing it for a little bit, so I left it the way it was. And then the next day, my neighbor knocked on our door and said, "Hey, you have a cat on your roof." And I was like, "Really?" Hey, Jody. Um, and so I went and got it, and I have no idea how it got up there. I guess probably something freaked it out, and it climbed because we have a chimney at our house, and it climbed up the chimney somehow because there's no trees close enough that it could be able to jump from the tree to the roof, and we have like a small like dingy tree, I guess you want to call it, but it's not like enough to support a full grown cat's weight. So I'm just like, had to climb up like in a corner and got scared and somehow got up to the roof and then wasn't able to jump back down because it was up there for a couple days, maybe more. Why I got up there and saved it. It was full healthy. And long story short, we were able to find its owner. It had a chip in the back of it, which we didn't use it, but we found that out through the owner that she said it had a chip. And I don't know much about that stuff, but there was a flea collar and there was no name on the pet collar, but through Facebook groups and people that connected with us really well, we were able to find the owner. So it all worked out, which was crazy. But yeah, very, very interesting situation for sure. I wasn't going to be here much longer than an hour, not unless we get a bunch of people in here. But that's kind of all the updates that I have for you guys. Anything else that you guys want to bring up or ask? Or Hunter says thanks for saving the kitty. Yeah, they call it a tuxedo cat, so it was like a black and white cat on our roof. On the roof. Excuse me. I used to have a channel where I bred parrots. I've been kicking around starting it up again, so I get it. Yep. Yeah, it's kind of like I'm not bored with the fish keeping hobby by any means, but it's just one of those things that like I'm kind of on the thoughts of it's hard to come up with something in the fish keeping hobby that hasn't already been done. So that's why I'm just trying to broaden my horizons and kind of think a little bit outside the box and kind of do things that I enjoy. And if I connect with new people and then they're like, oh, you know what? I own a fish tank too. Or, hey, I drum too. Or, hey, this is kind of cool. He kind of does multiple things, So I don't know. We'll see what happens. If I lose some subscribers, I understand that because people are like, oh, what, used to do fish keeping stuff. Why are you doing this now? This doesn't make any sense. Like, I feel like the most separated part of this all is the fish keeping hobby and the gaming hobby. I feel like that's going to be where you're going to be like splitting, like divider. It's kind of like Democrats and Republicans. You're going to have that fine line. But then, like I said before, I might gain some new people and might lose some, but it's all an experience, and that's what's going to be probably enjoyable about it. But we haven't looked too far in depth with it yet, so we'll see. So on my time off in December, we should run another stream. So Brandon, what kind of stream are you thinking about? Are you talking about just me, or like you and I? Or are you just talking about me? Like maybe starting that off because I do have those 2 weeks off in December. I could kind of maybe test the waters a little bit. Okay, so Hydro had 2 of those tuxedos. They're pretty cats. I'm not a cat person. When I was younger, growing up, we had a cat. It was called Smokey, and it was like a dog. I mean, it knew its name, and so every time you called to it, it would come up to you, and it was basically a dog in a cat form. But since growing out, like I just was never really a cat person myself. If I were to get a cat, I would probably get a kitten, and I would let it grow up with my daughter and everything like that, so that way that she could enjoy it for a long period of time and not get a cat that could potentially pass away in 5 plus or minus years. But that's all I would do is I would get a kitten so that way my daughter could grow up with it. Cats or dogs? Noah should have kicked the cats off the boat. Stan must not be a cat person. um, okay. Yeah, Brandon, let's do another live stream together. I think that'll be a lot of fun. Um, we'll do that again in December because I'll let you know now actually my schedule. In December, it'll be the second and third week of December is what I have off. So we can connect and go from there. And then we'll pick a topic and that sort of thing. Yeah, well, we're our yard is capable of having a dog, Hydro, but I don't think I want a dog either. I think cats is going to be a little bit easier to maintain, especially when it comes to my 2-year-old. So, but yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see. There's a lot of plans in my future. There's a lot of things I've mentioned in this live stream that it's nice to come out and let you guys know what I plan to possibly do or may not do. So that way, I like getting your guys' input on how that goes. But I don't know. It's been fun so far. Maybe I guess like to end, a little bit of thoughts and final thoughts and comments on this live stream is my thoughts on YouTube so far has been good. It's kind of difficult to keep up for me for the watch hours. Not that I'm that concerned about it, but it's nice to have the subscribers on there and have enough people on here to at least bring a few people in here to connect with them and be able to interact with them and help each other out with everything, as far as whatever I decide to do on here. I think that's, like I've always said before with all my live streams and other people's live streams, and I've been asked several times about why I joined YouTube and what's my main reason for joining YouTube. It's just to be able to connect with the people on here and be able to do the things that I enjoy and not be so worried about the analytical side, but at least, if I get some revenue in to help the hobby out, pay for the fish food or pay for whatever the hobby is, that's fine. But I'm not that concerned about it because, my job takes care of, everything for me, and every little bit helps, I'm sure. But I guess that's just my main reason for joining YouTube and still doing it. And it's been fine so far. So, Brandon says, good to me. 17th and 19th, I'll be in Chicago for product training, but even then could work it out. I'd have to stream from the hotel. All right. Yeah. Well, 17th through the 19th, I'll jot that down on my notes. But thanks for that information. Jewel cichlids are your water puppies. Man, if I had to say something about water puppies, I would have to say, I don't know. I really do like my peacock and hat tank. As far as it's neat to see that, like, that tank, as far as fish goes, have the most color out of any tank in my house. And then as far as decoration and visual purpose is my Frontosa Aqua Decor tank. But like, and these window tanks here, I mean, wow, what a project. What a fun project. Fish Fam has a good community. Yeah, I'm a part of them, Hydro. But jewel cichlids are monsters. Yeah, Fish Fam seems to be a very good community. They've helpful with my channel too, and it's nice to go in there and get to know people as well. I haven't been in there within the last month or so, but it's nice to see people interact in there as well. And I don't know, it's been nice to join that community as well. Jesse just got done eating fish, shrimp, coleslaw, and asparagus. Sounds fantastic. I haven't had asparagus in a long time, but I do love it. I might have some shrimp myself. We got yum yum sauce, Jesse. My wife, daughter, and I, we got is it Japanese? Yeah, Japanese with the chicken and noodles and rice and yum yum sauce. So, hey, Swiffle, thanks for stopping by. Swiffle, I just gave a crap ton of updates to my fish room, or not my fish room, but my my YouTube channel and thoughts about what I'm going to do in the future and stuff. Swivel, there's a video coming out Friday today. There's a video coming out at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time about what happened to my Sun filter. So we talked about that. Updates about what I might do for the future of my channel, and updates with the fish room. So it's been all right. I have a few things to take care of here because I'm going to leave to go to Cleveland Cavaliers game in Cleveland. If I don't know if any of you guys who follow basketball, but they are undefeated right now. What are they? 13-0, I think. Let me look up real quick. They're 13-0. They're the #1 team in the NBA right now, which is crazy. I have never in my entire life have seen the Cavs go on this much of a win streak at the beginning of the season. So, knock on wood, hopefully they keep that going tonight. But so I got a few things I got to do at the house before I go to that game tonight. I just wanted to make sure to give you guys a little bit of an update, keep this around an hour or so. Jesse wants to make sure you share your gaming videos in Discord. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that people were sharing different things on your Discord channel. So if that comes to rise, then I will make sure to do that. Thanks for letting me know. Yep, I'll definitely do that. Thanks for coming in, Ed. I'll be leaving here too. But Swiftwell, if you want to watch some of the replay or something, I kind of give a gist of the updates and stuff within like the first 30 minutes, and end up being a longer conversation about like something that could potentially change my channel. But so played Black Desert and Terra. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Thanks for joining in. I appreciate it. Just wanted to do a quick update, and watch out for that video that comes out later this evening. Thank you guys so much for your attention. Thank you, Brandon, for getting in touch with me to do another live stream together. That was a lot of fun. We'll get something scheduled, and then you and I will probably talk in the very near future about what I can do with that small tank. But have a great weekend, everyone. Take care of yourself. Jesse, I'll see you on your live stream tomorrow at 9 a.m. And everyone else, take care. Thanks for joining in, and you guys are the best. We'll see you.